The following presentation is for mature audiences only.
Who are you?
He's a fine man.
All hell is broken loose.
He's a great broadcaster.
He's a very powerful guy. Absolutely brilliant.
Feared by men, adored by women.
He's a smart boy. It's patriotic.
It's no big deal.
It's the end of the world.
I might as well tell you now. He's a monkey.
And how you doing, rockers and cockers? Welcome in to another edition of The Wyldeside with Eric Clark. I am your host, Eric Clark, saying thank you for taking time out of your busy day being awesome to hang out with us on the east side of Nashville. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit that notification button, smash the like button. And of course, before you dip out of here today, get down in that comment section. Let me know all your thoughts about today's video. And if not anything else, throw some horns. Let the YouTube algorithm know Kilroy was here. If you have a suggestion for a band song or a video that you'd like me to make, get over to the Discord server. It, along with all of our social media, is linked down in the description below, along with ways to contribute from PayPal to the Super Chat. If you want to throw me a couple of bucks, that would be appreciated as well. But get over to the Discord server, left-hand side, YouTube reaction request, drop a link, a pin message, and I'll get to it when I can. Today's Discord suggestion is actually from my oldest son. He has started recently to dig through a lot of my old music and has been asking me for suggestions. And I have been trying to kind of rank everything as to what you should get first and then, let stuff happen later. And I've spent 3 years telling people I do not rank artists. But today, that's exactly what we're going to do. Today, I'm going to create my tier list for 90s rock bands. Now, let me explain my tiers for you. I only have 4 tiers for all these 90s rock bands, and I'm going to put them in either iconic, which means the 90s music scene wouldn't exist without them. They're either going to be great, which is, they had a good run. It's going to be a nostalgia hit, which is if it comes on or it just happens to pop up, it makes your foot tap and it reminds you of the time, no big deal, but you may not own the album. And then, of course, our bottom tier is it sucks taint and I don't listen to it. I don't like it. There's nothing I like about it. So I'm going to put it in the sucks taint tier. So we're ranking the 90s rock bands here on the Wyldeside. They're going to go in alphabetical order. I'm just going to go through the list and I'll explain as we go. So first up, it is 311. I've hung out with S.A. Martinez, seen them a lot. I think they are a great band. I wouldn't call them iconic, and I think they're better than a nostalgia hit. We were airing, I think we had like 3 or 4 of their songs in rotation. Great band, and they're great live as well. Alice in Chains up next. You know where that's going, bro. That is up in the iconic. The 90s would not exist without Alice in Chains. The 90s music scene wouldn't exist. Bare Naked Ladies, that's a nostalgia hit, man. Straight up. They're not great. They're not iconic, but they are indicative of the 90s. I wouldn't call them a one-hit wonder, but they are definitely a nostalgia hit. Blind Melon, they're going to go up into great. I wouldn't call them iconic. I know that No Rain hit heavy, but they were because of Shannon Hoon's habits and his short existence, the band itself didn't get to the iconic status. They're more than a nostalgia hit because they make you feel, but they're great, not only because of No Rain, but Tones of Home, songs like that. They were a great band. It was just a shame they didn't get further. Blink 182, I'll give them a great. I don't think they are as iconic as other people would make them. I think the sound of the 90s would exist without Blink 182, but they're still better than a one-hit wonder. And honestly, I actually love Angels and Airwaves. So there you go, Tom. Blues Traveler, I'm putting him in nostalgia hit, dude. I'm putting him in nostalgia hit. I know, but Hook is really the only track that got anywhere. I haven't heard much from them lately. I'm sure they're gigging out, but let's be fair, they're a nostalgia hit. Blur, I'm going to put them in a nostalgia hit too. I think song number 2 is Overplayed, and I worked in active rock radio where it's a recurrent. Sorry, means it pops up a lot. So I'll give them the nostalgia hit. As far as great goes, if we were talking the 90s alternative scene or the Manchester sound, something like that, I might rank it a little bit higher as influential. But in the grand scope of 90s music, Blur, they're a nostalgia hit, and they're overplayed. So I think the overplaying of the track, not only on radio, but at sporting events and stuff and in commercials. I think it's chipped away at the weight of Blur. So I'm going to throw him in the nostalgia hit. Bush, I'm going to put up in, I want to do iconic. I really, really do, because 16 Stone was massive. 16 Stone was a big record, man. And I think a lot of people discount that and underrate that record because of the contemporaries of Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Nirvana, etc. But Bush 16 Stone, everybody I knew had that album. So I'm going to put it up in iconic. I have to put it in iconic. Everybody had that record. It was massive. Razor Blade Suitcase, etc. Maybe didn't stack up to 16 Stone, but when you write a whole album about one of your bandmates bringing home a big girl, you gotta put that in iconic. Butthole Surfers, I want to put him in nostalgia hit. The song Pepper definitely puts him in the nostalgia hit. I'm going to do the same with Cake. Having played a few of their tracks in regular rotation on our stations throughout my radio career, I'll put him in nostalgia hit. We definitely use them as a, oh yeah, remember them. I don't personally know too many Cake fans. So that's why I want to put him in nostalgia hit. Counting Crows, I want to put him in great. They were massive, dude. They were massive. Yeah, I'll put him in great. And the dude hooked up with Jen Aniston, so you got to give him that. Cranberries, I want to put in great. My wife used to joke all the time about the Cranberries being the band that shocked her about me. And I would be like, I listen to Concrete Blonde. I listen to 10,000 Maniacs. I listen to, a lot of alternative music. So the Cranberries are a great alternative band. And the album, everyone else is doing it. Why can't we? With Linger and Dreams. There are other songs like Sunday and things like that make that whole record really great for its time. It's a great time capsule of early 90s alternative sound. So I'll give him that one. Who is this? Crash Test Dummies. Okay, I don't have my glasses on. I'm sorry. Crash Test Dummies. I'll put him in nostalgia hit. I liked Afternoons and Coffee Spoons. I'll give him that. I'll give him that. Just for Afternoons and Coffee Spoons, I'll give him nostalgia hit. But the song, we didn't play it. I didn't like it. But I'll give him, just for Afternoons and Coffee Spoons, I'll put him in nostalgia hit. Creed, you want to talk about a band that's had a great up and down career. I'm going to put Creed in iconic. The 90s, look, the 90s wouldn't exist without Scott Stapp in his puffy white shirt and a wind machine. It just wouldn't be the same. Active rock radio would not exist without Creed. So I'll give you that. And then to dip in your career and kind of go into this, oh yeah, I didn't really like Creed back in the day. And then all of a sudden to come back out again when they do a halftime show and stuff like that. So I'll give Creed that credit. They are an iconic 90s band. Dave Matthews Band, for me, I'm going to put him in great only because, if not anything else, I would have them in nostalgia. But I'm putting them in great only because I do remember how big they were. Like I do. I remember they were massive. The shows were selling out. They were selling records. And then they dumped their waste into Chicago onto a boat full of people. And it's amazing how quickly this band faded into obscurity after that moment. Eve 6, nostalgia hit. I've got the record. I sing along to the song. Everclear, I want to give it. I'll put you in the, I like Art Alexakis. Santa Monica, of course, and there were some Father of Mine. They did have a couple of good tracks, but I think now they've been relegated to that nostalgia hit. Filter, I'm going to put in great. They were a great band, made great music. I don't know why. I have no idea why Filter petered out. I have no idea why. Foo Fighters, I'll put them in the iconic, even though I've not listened to them since 2015. I'm going to put them in iconic. Garbage, I'll put them in nostalgia hit just because they were there. Gin Blossoms, I'll put in great because they were a sound. Gin Blossoms really did a great job of capturing a 90s garage rock band vibe. They were like a 90s garage rock band made good that had a good producer and a good studio. So while the band still kind of sounded like they were playing at some college bar in Tempe, Arizona, which is where they were, they cleaned up but kept that sound. So I'll give them that as great, and they do great live shows. Goo Goo Dolls, I'll be honest with you, dude. For me, they're a nostalgia hit. I wasn't a big fan. I know that I can't remember the guy's name. Was it Resnick? Last name Resnick. The Slide, Name, great songs, great pop songs. They wrote great pop songs. But when you stack the Goo Goo Dolls up with Alice in Chains and Bush and Creed and Foo Fighters, they just don't hold it. Green Day, I got to put them in the iconic. They were the forerunners of that double postmodern punk. Whether you liked it, Green Day really, I'll give them their credit because they really did battle this gatekeeper generation. They really did go up against this generation of skate punks from the 80s who thought they knew what punk was when they just knew what punk was when they were a kid. So they had to battle, and I remember having phone calls and conversations with people when we would play Green Day. No, this isn't punk, man. And it's like, okay, I get what you say, but you cannot deny their impact on the 90s and 2000s. You just can't do it. Hole, I'll put them in nostalgia hit. I mean, they were there. I'm not a fan. I never was a fan, but I'll give Courtney Love credit. I will absolutely give her credit and say that she was probably one of the nicest, most well-behaved, interactive rock stars that I've ever brought through the radio station for interviews, meet and greets, backstage stuff, all of that. Out of all of my interactions with stars or rock stars and watching them interact with the fans, I firmly will give Courtney Love her credit and say that she was magnificent, better than 90% of the bands I've dealt with, to be honest. Yeah, she was an hour and a half late. That's okay. It's Courtney Love. But when it came to interacting and being the rock star in the room, very gracious, very friendly, very amiable. I have nothing but compliments for her. Hootie and the Blowfish, sucks taint. I got that song. The Dolphins make me cry. Oh, I'm just so over it, man. I'm glad he went country. I'm glad, Darius. And what's even funnier is my late father, God rest his soul, he would call me with random questions, and he would give the most vague descriptions of what he was looking for. And you have to understand, my dad was born in 1939. So sometimes the descriptions would be like, whoa, hold on a second. My phone rings one day, and I look down, and I know it's my father. I see it's my father. And when your parents get to a certain age and they call, you're like, oh, geez, they're either taking me out of the will or there's something really bad. So my dad calls me up, and I answer the phone. He goes, hey, how you doing out of boys? And he goes, hey, who's that guy, that black guy that I like that sings about that crying girl? I'm like, do you mean Darius Rucker? He's like, yeah. He went country, right? And I'm like, yeah, he went country. Man, I really like that guy. I'm like, yeah, Dad, it's Darius Rucker. That is his name. But that was his phone call. Hey, who's that black guy? Who's that black guy that sings about that crying girl? I'm like, oh, that's Darius Rucker. Incubus, I'm putting in great. Pardon me, Stellar, just a fantastic band. Fantastic. I would put Incubus in the progressive category. I would say that they were more of a progressive active rock band. They were a little bit deeper than most of their contemporaries. So I'll put them in great. They were a great band. Jane's Addiction, iconic, dude. Nothing Shocking, Ritual de la Habitual. Those are like Frampton Comes Alive, Fleetwood Mac Rumors, Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf. where you may not be their biggest fan, but everybody had those records, dude. You had, oh, you're a kid of the 90s? Okay, here's your 2 Jane's Addiction albums. It's just that simple. And 3 Days, the song 3 Days, it's a masterpiece, belongs in a museum. So yeah, I'm gonna put them in the iconic, without a doubt. Jimmy Eat World, you're going in the taint, man. You're hitting the taint. Sorry. First off, I think you're a 2000s band. Secondly, I'm not an angry 13-year-old who shops at Hot Topic. So I'm not that guy. Korn, I'll put you in great. Coming Undone, one of my favorite tracks. And they were massive. Follow the Leader. They were massive, without a doubt. Lemonheads, Evan Dando and the boys from Lemonheads. The tracks they had were All I Want is to feel this way, to be this close. Yeah, All I Want. And they did a cover of the Simon and Garfunkel song Mrs. Robinson that caught traction, got some radio play. I worked Active Rock. We didn't play Lemonheads. They were more of a single A alternative radio station or a college alt radio station. I don't want to put them in the taint category. I really don't. So I'll put them in the nostalgia hit because I do. I still listen to there's on these compilations. I have this book of Jake's Jams. They're in there. So they're a nostalgia hit. They're definitely a road trip. Song comes on, you sing out loud. You know, my wife and I had the same, it was like, it's the Lemonheads, Evan Dando. What a great name. Limp Bizkit. I want to put him in great. I'm going to put him in great, and here's why. I should put him in iconic. You know what? Just because of Wes Borland, I'm going to put them in iconic. And here's why. For once and for all, people, I'm going to tell you this. I was there. I was working in rock radio when $2 Bill y'all hit. I was there. I was at the show at the Bridgestone when Limp Bizkit made their debut in 99 or whatever it was here in Nashville. I was there through all the roll-ins and all the break stuffs and all that stuff. I remember how many people wanted to hear Limp Bizkit. I remember my phones. Now, 20 years later, everybody's acting like you're better than Limp Bizkit, like somehow you escaped that 5-year period where you couldn't get away from Limp Bizkit. I was at Woodstock 99. I saw it. I saw what they brought the A's to the S's. I saw it. So you can't tell me now, 20 years later, that Fred Durst, Wes Borland, and Limp Bizkit are not an iconic 90s band. You can't tell me that, man. I was there. I saw it. I have the music research to prove it. It's just suddenly it's really weird. Like 20 years later, people are acting like, I was never into Limp Bizkit. Man, yeah, you were. Yeah, you were. You just don't want to say anything now. Lit, I think I know the drummer. Is it Taylor something? I can't remember his name, but I met him through the guy from Hailstorm. I'll put him in nostalgia hit. My Own Worst Enemy, I think, is the track that we had played live. I'll put them in great. Throwing Copper was a massive record. Throwing Copper with I Alone and Coming Back Again. That really depressing song about losing a baby. I'll put him in the great Playground. Marcy Playground. That's a I want sex and candy. Yeah. Matchbox 20, Taint. Sorry, Rob. Taint. You're in the taint, man. You are in the taint. Modest Mouse, you're going in the taint. Who are you? Natural Born Bones. I don't know that, so that's going to go in the taint. New Radicals, Give What You Get, you're going in the taint. 9 Inch Nails, you're going up in iconic, man. Going up. The fact that the band started like basically as nothing, and Trent built this huge image, this huge presence in the industrial rock scene, just fantastic. And they, along with Stabbing Westward, the Stabbing Westward's first album, Ungod, is I've always, I'll be honest, when I heard Ungod and then I heard 9 Inch Nails, I was like, oh man. I guess Trent got the better promotion because this Ungod record is phenomenal. And then Stabbing Westward went in a really different direction on that second record. But I'll put Nine Inch Nails in iconic. Nirvana, you're going up into iconic. No doubt, you're a nostalgia. I was never a fan. I saw them open for Bush in Knoxville when I met and hung out with them. A buddy of mine was their guitar tech. I just remember standing next to Gavin Rosdale, like, bro, I can't stand next to this guy. Actually moved a guy between us. I was like, I can't be next to this guy. My boss was like, what are you doing? I'm like, man, I can't stand. I cannot. I don't know if you've ever met Gavin Rosdale, like stood next to that dude, but I remember just standing there thinking, there's no way I'm having my picture taken standing next to this guy. If there's someone I can put a buffer between us, a buffer of ugly between us. Because, man, that dude is so good looking. You stand next to him and you actually feel diminished. You actually feel like, oh, my God, I'm going to look so bad standing next to this dude. So I moved. Oasis, you're going in the taint, bro. You're going in the taint. I think they were overhyped. I think that the rock media... I think the rock media took it too far and they went along with it. Instead of ever coming out and being like, bro, don't ever compare us to the Beatles. They actually bought into it and thought they actually were. So that's why I'm putting them in the sucks taint. Musically, What's the Story? Morning Glory was a massive record. I have it. But I think the damage to their legacy was done externally, both by them and music media. Offspring, I'm putting in iconic. Come Out and Play from Smash. When that dropped in mid-90s, 94, 95, somewhere in there, I'll never forget, and I have a cousin that can prove this. We had gotten the album Smash probably a month before it was released, and we were asked to add certain songs from the album. That's how it works. Sorry, that's how it used to work. So I had the Offspring Smash before anybody, and I knew what stations had added the song. So I knew that when I was going to Cleveland, WMMS and this other station, I think it was The Point. They hadn't added the Offspring yet. So I had the Offspring, and I remember going to my cousin and saying, check this out. And I played Come Out and Play. And my cousin and I both talked about, man, it's got a surf guitar, Dick Dale sound. We were really analyzing the track, and I said, these guys are going to be massive. They're going to be huge. And lo and behold, I was right. Papa Roach, I'll put him in great. You couldn't get away from him. Pearl Jam, I'll put him in iconic. Again, there's the core, if you will, of the fall of 91, the autumn of 91. Pearl Jam releases 10, Blood Sugar Sex Magic releases, Nirvana Nevermind, Metallica Black. All of this stuff happens within this specific time period that shifted the zeitgeist of rock music, and Pearl Jam were a part of that. So even though I'm a huge fan, I am a fan of Pearl Jam, but I wouldn't say that I don't wear their T-shirts or anything. But I do recognize, this is Pearl Jam, man. You can't get away from it. Pixies, Frank Black in the band. I would put them in nostalgia, but I personally don't like them. So I'm going to put them in the taint. I'm going to put them in the taint category. And who is this? I can't read that. So anyway, I'm going to skip it for now. Radiohead, you're going in the taint. I had this roommate that was just... It was too much. He was so into Radiohead. It was constant. Like every time you'd walk in the house, he would be sitting there playing Nintendo. Legend of Zelda. He would be playing Legend of Zelda and listening to Radiohead's OK Computer. Just over and over and over again. I gotta see what this band is real quick. I'm sorry. Oh. All right. My bad. Presidents of the United States of America. Just for the fact that I couldn't read your name, and I was never in it. I never caught on. I maybe I'm wrong. I found absolutely no value in the presidents of the United States. I've found no value in their music at all in any way, shape, or form. Rage Against the Machine, you're going in iconic, dude. Red Hot Chili Peppers, you're in iconic. Obviously, you're both going into iconic. The 90s wouldn't sound that way without Rage and Red Hot Chili Peppers. Again, going back to Blood Sugar Sex Magic in the autumn of 91, they're part of that initial wave that happened in early 91. REM, you're going into iconic, even though I'm not the biggest fan of REM. My late wife was a huge fan of REM. We have the box set. We have a lot of REM. I am a fan, like Driver 8, I Am Superman. They're great version of that Click song, I Am Superman. The one I love is probably the greatest breakup song that's ever been written. But yeah, you have to recognize them as iconic. That is the Rembrandts. The Rembrandts. Didn't they do the song for Friends? So I'm going to go ahead and put you in the taint category just for that. But I'm not. I wasn't a fan of them. I thought they were like smart chick college rock. I don't know, man. I was never into it. Semisonic. The song Closing Time, they're going in the sucks taint. And here's why they're going in the sucks taint. The song Closing Time is horrible. It's a horrible song. I hate the song. Every active rock station I've worked for refuses to play it because we were awesome. That's why we were number one, because we didn't play Semisonic. When I got to Pensacola and was working for Cumulus at the rock station there, our competition was a 100,000 watt TK-101. So I built these pieces. It's called imaging. It's these pieces of audio that play in between songs. So I built these pieces of imaging with our voice guy, and he said, at Rock 106, we won't make you sit through something that might rock. No. We won't make you sit through this. And then we would play a hook of a song we don't play. And then the voice guy would come back in and say, we rock every time, all the time. Pensacola's pure rock, Rock 106. And then we always made sure we went into a power A, something like Master of Puppets or something like that. So I remember Semisonic was the first song I used when it was, we won't make you sit through this. Closing time. It's like, yeah, we're not going to make you sit through this. And for Nashvillians, also, it was the last song the legendary WKDF played before they switched to country. Legendary KDF rock station. Last song they played was Closing Time. Silverchair, I'll put them in nostalgia hit. Tomorrow is a nostalgia hit without a doubt. Smash Mouth, nostalgia hit. I know that they're massive, and I said this previously in a video about how I'll be honest with you, man, Walking on the Sun is a great song. It is such a great song, and it was the first song I heard from them. And then I heard they did a cover of a Kiss song on the Kiss Tribute album, and I can't remember what that was. If you remember what the Kiss song they did on the Kiss Tribute, drop it down in there in the comment section for me. But I remember hearing that for the first time, Walking on the Sun, and I love, as I said about The Offspring, I love the fat-bodied Dick Dale 50s rockabilly vibe, surf vibe, skate vibe. And they really, really had it. And then it just kind of went away. Smashing Pumpkins, they're going to go in the iconic category, even though I'm a hypocrite because I'm the one that says the only Smashing Pumpkin album that matters is Gish. Everything after Gish does not hold up to Gish. That's my problem with the Smashing Pumpkins, is that Gish is so good that nothing that came after could even hold up to that record. So for me, Gish is one of the greatest records of the 90s. I'd even put it in maybe my top 25 of all time. It is an incredible piece of music. If it's been a while since you've heard it, check it out. Soul Asylum. They had Runaway Train, Someone to Shove, Misery. They say misery, that's company. Frustrated, Incorporated, whatever that was. That's a nostalgia hit. Yeah, they had a couple. Soundgarden, bro, you're up there in the iconic. You're in the iconic at this point. You're Soundgarden. I mean, come on. Spin Doctors, they're great. I'm only going to put them in the great category because I've seen them live, and they are great live. Same thing with Aaron Lewis and Stained. I think it was Family Values in Biloxi. It was either a Family Values tour or an Offspring, or no, an Off Fest, because there was Ozfest that happened in New Orleans, or was happening later that week, and they played Biloxi with some other bands like Limp Bizkit and stuff. I think it was Family Values or Off Fest. I can't remember which, but they were really good live. Stone Temple Pilots, iconic, man. Regardless of Scott's peccadillos, they were an iconic band. They really were. Sublime, I'll put them in great because I know there are a lot of fans of Sublime. I'm not, but Sugar Ray, sorry, man. You're going in the sucks taint. Sugar Ray is the reason white guys in the 90s wore frosted tips. Look what you made me do to myself, Sugar Ray. Look what you made me do to myself. So just for that alone, you're going in the sucks taint. They might be giants. I'm not even familiar with them, but you're going right there. Third Eye Blind, you're in nostalgia hit. Toadies, nostalgia hit. Tonic, if you could only see. I'll put him in some nostalgia. Tool, you're an iconic, bro. Tool is, every album is a masterpiece. And Danny Carey's drumming, Maynard James Keenan along with Chris Cornell, probably two of the best male vocals of 90s rock, of the 90s, without a doubt. Maynard James Keenan's vocals are up there with anyone else you want to stack them up against. I'll put him up there against anybody from the 60s, 70s, 80s. I don't care. Maynard James Keenan's vocals they're incredible. The Verve, I'll put him in, Richard Ashcroft was smart, is very creative, but the fact that you couldn't recover, I've got to hold that against you and put you in the nostalgia hit. I can't give you any more credit. Had you recovered from that lawsuit with the Rolling Stones about Bittersweet Symphony, had you recovered and put out some more music that was just as good, I'd move you up in my rankings. But the fact that, you know what, to be honest with you, man, you gave up. Sorry, man. But I'm not sorry, because I've been through Iron Maiden, AC/DC, Van Halen. I've been through a lot of changes in bands, man. And the fact that you couldn't gird your loins and, use that as motivation to make another great record, I got to put you in the nostalgia hit, man. I really do. Wallflowers, I want to put you in sucks, man, because I think they were overplayed. I think they were overhyped, overplayed, and totally overhyped. That's just remember, these are all my opinion, kids. Ween, man, let me tell you something. I'm going to put them in the sucks taint, and here's why. Because I'm tired of dealing with you people. In a room full of 100 people, only 4 of you at most are Ween fans. So, now, the fact that you're even in this, that's another reason to put you in this category of the taint, because you shouldn't even be talked about with these other bands. Ween. Weezer, I'll put him in the nostalgia hit. I got to put you in the nostalgia hit, Weezer. I really do. I got to put you in the nostalgia hit, because I know people who are fans of Weezer, but even the people I know who are fans of Weezer are still limited. Like, their identity is not built around Weezer. There's other bands that people build their identities around. Weezer is not one of them. Yes, they're popular. Yes, with the Blue Album and the Sweater Song and all this other stuff. But as far as putting them up against Blink-182, I don't think so, man. I don't know, though. Yeah, I'm going to keep it just the way it is. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. My list of 90s rock bands and my tiers. From iconic to great to nostalgia driving down the road, man, I haven't heard this in forever, to, oh my God, tear the stereo out. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to watch me put together the list of 90s rock bands and where I, Eric Clark, your radio DJ, believe these people should fall in the pantheon of 90s rock bands. If there's another tier list you would like me to make, get over to the Discord server, slap it in the YouTube suggestions, and I'll be more than happy to put it together for you. Again, this was a list my son had asked me to make, so hopefully, dude, there you go. Start with Iconic and just work your way through, and that'll tell you everything you need to know about the 90s and why our generation is so broken. Again, make sure you're following me on any and all the social media. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Hit that like button, smash the notification button, and of course, get down in that comment section and let me know everything about my list, your thoughts about it, where you would place the bands, and if you have a suggestion for a list. Again, thank you for taking time out of your day to hang out with us on the east side of Music City, USA. Make sure you're looking out for each other. Make sure you're looking out for your neighbor. Try to do at least one good thing a day. I am Eric Clark. You are the best darn subscribers in the world, and this has been The Wild Side.